everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another Dark Park Film Reviews. And today, today, even more than the day that I did the final Bayham video, we are now doing Tom Cruise. You survived all my videos on Michael Bay, but can you survive 3 Tom Cruise videos? The first one, this one, is DVD. The second one is Blu-ray. And the third one, it's all about collectibles. All of you know, if you've been following the channel or me on Facebook, stuff like that, I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan. And I just collect and collect and collect. And recently it's been more than normal because I've been collecting all of his movies and then getting collectibles and stuff like that. So I wanted to make this video to show you guys what I have and maybe influence you to explore the world of Tom Cruise. I've been asked by some people on Facebook, because I do post stuff about Cruise. I can't like him because he's a Scientologist. I don't care. I really don't. I used to. Religion, politics used to play a big part of the music I listened to, the actors I liked, the filmmakers that I watched. I just don't care anymore. Just give me good movies and good music. I was back in high school a massive Mel Gibson fan, to the point of even having a streak in my hair from the Road Warrior. Massive. And then he went crazy and started saying insane crap and all of that. And I kind of dropped him. And then I guess he was forgiven because then stuff like Hacksaw Ridge was nominated for Best Movie. And I guess now he's more acceptable. And I've now kind of started to rediscover the movies I missed. So I have a small stack of Mel Gibson movies that he acted in and directed. So can we separate, the person from what we don't like? And I've had to do that with Tom Cruise because of Scientology. I don't like Scientology, but if it helps him, then that's up to him. It has hurt people, but then all religion has, to be honest. So you just have to kind of separate those things. And so I guess I like him as a movie star, one of the last movie stars. I love that he does his own stunts. I think he's a good producer. I think he picks good projects. I find it very interesting that he doesn't sell his likeness. So if you try to find a Funko Pop, let's say, which I've now gotten into, you can only find the Mummy. You won't find anything from Top Gun, Jack Reacher, Mission Impossible. You won't even find action figures, on these things. It just doesn't exist. It's just, he's an interesting cat. And so I've just looked past that. And I like that he's older than me, 4 years, somewhere in there, 3 or 4 years. So I can kind of, look up to, admire, or, follow somebody who's older than me than somebody who's younger, which I've always found to be a little odd, but, you like who you like. So with all that being said, I know Tom Cruise has his issues. I'm very well aware of that. And I just like the guy. That's all I can say. So to get into the collection of DVDs that I have a stack here. And this stack are all the movies that he's started. And then I have a smaller stack of movies that he has produced in one way or another. And then below that are films that are Tom Cruise adjacent or related to. And I thought I would share those too. So let's get started. Now, these are in order by the year that they came out. I'm going to be missing a lot of them because they're on Blu-ray, and that will be the second video. So each week, there'll be a new video. So it'll take about 3 weeks because then it'll basically go like Tom Cruise, video of something else, Tom Cruise, video of something else, Tom Cruise, video of something else. I'm going to be splitting it up like that. So when I go through these, you may go, oh, wait, he missed this movie. No, it will be next week. So we're going to start off here with and this is a pretty awesome movie. I rewatched it when I bought it, and it is really good. And it's one of Cruise's best performances. It's 1981, so it's pretty early in his career. And that's Taps. This is a really good film. It takes place at a military school or a military academy. I'm not entirely sure exactly what you call it, but it's a military school, military academy. The only two actors at the time who would have been really known would be Timothy Hutton and George C. Scott. You also have Tom Cruise there and Sean Penn there. So they weren't as well known. Cruise's character is pretty awesome. He goes nuts. He goes completely insane. And it's perfect for him. This is the 25th anniversary special edition. Oh, so I'm not going to be going through like rating them. I'm not going to be going through and reviewing them, but I will say things here and there, you know, if I liked it or not, or, you know, little history things on the movies or whatever. I'm also not going to read all of the special features. I'll mention stuff that I think is interesting that you might want to know about. So, for example, this film is directed by Harold Becker. He also did True Believer with James Woods and Robert Downey Jr. He's done other stuff too. The special features on this, you do get commentary by the director, and there's a couple makings of TV spots and stuff. So the commentary, I've listened to some of it, it is interesting, but there is a making of that's pretty good. Let's see here. We got this. Oh, it opens. Okay, this. Got the chapters. Oh, okay. Little behind the scenes type of thing here about the making of the movie. And then you've got just ads for more movies. But Taps, good film. The next one, I'm a fan, but I'm not a huge fan of this movie. It's The Outsiders. Great cast. Like this was the 80s, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 83. And in the 80s, they just had those great team ups of actors that we kind of knew, but hadn't hit that peak yet. So you had stuff like, you know, Outsiders and Red Dawn, and there were, you know, The Breakfast Club, things like that. And this is good. So it's based off the book, but a lot of Cruise's stuff got cut. So he ended up on the cutting room floor. I remember seeing this in the theater, and I liked it. I liked Rumblefish better. Who else is in this? This also has. Was there anybody else to mention in Taps, or is this it? Oh, Ronnie Cox is in Taps. That is a good thing. Okay. And then in this, you also get so like C. Thomas Howell, Matt Dillon, Ralph Macchio, Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Diane Lane, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise, Leif Garrett, um, Carmine Coppola, who's Francis Ford Coppola's father, did the music for this. Also, he did music for like The Godfather, Godfather 2, Godfather 3. I mean, he did a lot of music for Francis Ford Coppola for his son. Fred Ruse, he's a regular producer for Coppola. Nothing for special features on this, just trailer. Now, this next one is also The Outsiders, but it's The Outsiders, the complete novel. It's a 2-disc special edition. So, what Coppola did was he went back, re-edited the movie. He added in a whole bunch of scenes that were missing from the original theatrical version, including Tom Cruise. A lot of Tom Cruise is put back into this. The beginning is a little bit longer, and it has a different score. So Coppola comments on the making of this that he never liked his dad's score, but he waited till his dad died, and then he redid the movie and redid the score. So it has a different soundtrack, it has a different score. His dad's score is still in there, but it's just different. It's used in a different way. Um, I do tend to, I think, like this version a little bit better. They add a lot, but they also take out some too. So it's a longer movie because of the new stuff, but this has the missing stuff that they took out of this. So it's worth actually getting both movies because they are different films. And does this? No, I don't see any. I mean, there are special features on this, but so here's disc one. So the movie, disc two, special features. So this does have a documentary, interviews, and other stuff on it. It just isn't listed on the box. So maybe there was a slipcover that went over it that I didn't get. But this is both of these are worth it. This the original Outsiders is very dramatic, like really overdone as far as the music goes, and the whole presentation is. I felt that it was very much like a play. It was just very over the top. This brings it down. This feels more like how it should have been when it originally came out. It felt more like a movie instead of like an over dramatic play. So check out both, but definitely check out the complete novel also. The next one is a film that I thought came out much earlier in Cruise's career, but it didn't. But it's technically his first starring role, and that's Losing It. It's one of those teen sex movies. Basically, a group of friends go down to like Tijuana to lose their virginity. Not the greatest thing. It's got Tom Cruise, Shelley Long from Cheers, MGM. It's part of their Movie Time series. The last word about the first time. Cruise into hilarious adventure. Get it? Cruise like a car because they drive a car down to Tijuana. Cruise, Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise. I don't think you get it, but you probably do. Um, what's interesting about this is that it is directed by Curtis Hanson. He directed LA Confidential. He did The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, which is my favorite film by him. Sadly, he has passed away. I think that's really the only interesting as far as crew goes. Cast, this also has Jackie Earle Haley, John Stockwell, who is in Top Gun with Tom Cruise, is in this. Like that's him back there. There's Jackie Earle Haley. The funny thing is, I guess Cruise did not give permission to give his likeness for this, because there he is on the car, but his back is to us. And except for his name, he's nowhere to be found in any of the pictures. So this might be something that he's not really happy with. Special features are theatrical trailer. That's it. This is 1982. One thing that I don't like about this is that it's standard. So they modified the picture to fit your TV screen. So it's not widescreen, which really annoys me. So maybe one day I'll find a copy of it that's widescreen and its actual true aspect ratio. But right now that the picture is cut. I might have not realized that when I bought it, assuming that it, was this was 2001 is when this came out. So I don't know. I don't know if there's actually a widescreen version of Losing That. The next one is what people have called Top Gun with a football. And that's All the Right Moves. This has, Tom Cruise, Craig T. Nelson, Leah Thompson. It's basically roles like this that got Craig T. Nelson the TV show Coach. And it's very Flashdance also. It's unlike Flashdance where she's the coal mine worker, the small town girl, trying to get out of there to be a dancer. Well, this is the small town high school football player who is trying to get into a college. And, he has to go up against the coach, which is Craig T. Nelson. The one thing that I really do like about this, well, I should say what I like about Cruise in this is there is a sex scene between Cruise and Leah Thompson. Leah Thompson has full frontal nudity. Like she is naked. Cruise did not find that fair. So he got naked too. So there is full frontal naked Tom Cruise. And if you remember in the original Scream, Tatum says to, Sydney, hey, let's go down and rent All the Right Moves. If we pause it at the right moment, we can see Tom Cruise's penis. That's this film here. Of course, they were going to watch it on VHS. This is DVD. So it has a little bit of a history. It's not a bad flick. It's okay. It's directed by Michael Chapman. Nothing interesting as far as, bonus features go. Theatrical trailer, widescreen. That's about it. Oh, yeah, the chapters. Our next movie is the film that Tom Cruise almost quit Hollywood over, but the director convinced him to stay on, and Cruise learned patience on this movie. And right after it, he went to go do Top Gun and became a household name. So if it wasn't for this movie, Legend, and its director, Ridley Scott, and remember, then Tom Cruise went on to do Top Gun, directed by Tony Scott, Ridley's brother. Some of these I should get on Blu-ray, but because they have packaging like this, I chose to get them on DVD. And you're going to find a few of these in here like this. And that's why I don't have, let's say, Legend on Blu-ray. I just have it on DVD. This cover, this is a beautiful cover. It's got this printed Ridley Scott signature on here. This is the Ultimate Edition. This is a Ridley Scott film. You also got Tim Curry here as Darkness with the Rick Baker makeup. Just gorgeous makeup. And it's cool is when you open it, so I'll do it down here. He's then just holding, it's like an apple. Yeah, like he's holding an apple. I haven't seen the film in a long time. There's Mia Sara. I will say, this is Tom Cruise's worst performance. He is very miscast in this film. He is not good in this movie. He's just not good. And I think that is when a fan of, it could be a director, an actor, a musician, a band, whatever it is, if you can critique what they've done with a critical eye and say, this is good, this is not good, well, this wasn't bad, well, I listened to it again and I thought it was pretty. When you can kind of do that, you're not like a fanatic. You're not, because you come across people where everything is good. Everything. Like nothing that the person or the filmmaker, musician, whatever it is, has done is bad. And that is like an obsessed fan. I can completely critique Tom Cruise, or my favorite band is the Monkees, believe it or not, for those of you who don't know. And through the ups and downs of their career, I can honestly say good and bad about them. And I think that's what you have to do is, even though Tom Cruise is my favorite actor, he has not made some of my favorite films. My favorite franchise is the Mission Impossible series. Some are better than others. Part 2 is not that great, but it's still watchable. And the new one, Dead Reckoning, is very hit and miss, unfortunately. My second favorite action series is the Fast and Furious. I love the Fast and Furious films. But you have to have a critical eye and an honest eye, and not just say, oh, everything that person did is great, because it isn't. Not everything is going to be gold. So even though Tom Cruise is very miscast in this, I still like the movie because visually this thing is beautiful. It's probably one of Ridley Scott's best movies. So when you open it, it looks like that. So it's got the 2 discs. And then on the back, it does tell us, oh, here, disc 1 is the director's cut, and disc 2 is the US theatrical version. That's one of the reasons why I got this. For the longest time, I've only seen the US theatrical version. And now I got the director's cut too, which is like the overseas version. There's a better view of the back. So disc 1 is the never before seen director's cut with Jerry Goldsmith's score. That eventually came out also. You could get that on CD. I have a download of that, and the Tangerine Dream score. They're both very good. And then bonus material is audio commentary with Ridley Scott on the director's cut. Disc 2 has a ton of stuff, so I'm not going to go over all of it, but it is the US theatrical version with the Tangerine Dream score. Tangerine Dream worked with Ridley Scott on a few movies. They did the music for Blade Runner. So their Tangerine Dream did one of my favorite scores for a movie called Sorcerer, which is a William Friedkin Roy Scheider movie. Um, it, I love that film. This has on it for the bonus features. It's got a bunch of stuff. Isolated score from Tangerine Dream. It's got documentaries, interviews, music videos, TV spots. It's also a DVD-ROM, script to screen comparison. I mean, this thing's got so much on it. Billy Barty is in this. Forgot about that. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I have to correct myself before you guys do in the comments. Rob Bottin did Darkness, not Rick Baker. I said Rick Baker. It's Rob Bottin. I apologize for that. So please don't kill me. But they kind of went backwards and forth. Like Rob Bottin did The Howling while Rick Baker did In America Werewolf in London. So, and then originally, I believe it was supposed to be Rick Baker who was supposed to work on like John Carpenter's The Thing, but he couldn't. So he gave it over to Rob Bottin. I could be wrong about that, but they worked on a lot of the same type of movies together. So I'm glad I caught myself with that. I just happened to spot it right there. Rob Bottin's like, oh crap, I don't want to get yelled at. So yes, his work is great too. And now the next one is a double feature. And that is a Touchtone home entertainment double feature 2 DVD set. So The Color of Money and Cocktail. So Color of Money is with Paul Newman. It is the sequel to the Hustler. And Cocktail was known as Top Gun with alcohol. He could not get away from that. Just like Days of Thunder was Top Gun with race cars. Color of Money is a great film. It is the film that got Tom Cruise into race cars because Paul Newman is a huge race car enthusiast. I believe he did his own race car film called Grand Prix. And so when they weren't shooting, Paul Newman would take Tom Cruise race car driving. And that's where Days of Thunder came from. And Cocktail is based on the book. It's one that I would actually really like to remake. I would like to do the book, which is a lot darker. It's not this kind of neon colored movie. It's a pretty dark book, but I like the movie also. It also has Elizabeth Shue in it and Brian Brown, who is in those FX movies, like F/X films. So both of these are good. No special features listed. Of course, Color Money is directed by Martin Scorsese. And Cocktail is directed by Roger Donaldson. I think he's done a bunch of films. I'm blanking on a lot of them. I think he did a film called White Sands with Willem Dafoe. And of course, we all know Martin Scorsese. I don't think I have to say anything about that. Nice thing is they're on their own discs. So you got Color of Money, and then you got Cocktail. As I'm sure there are special features on these, they just don't list them for some reason. The next film is the movie that Steven Spielberg wishes he had directed. When he was on Inside the Actors Studio, the host asked him, is there a film that you regret not directing? And he said, Rain Man. I could totally see Spielberg directing this completely. This is the special edition. You know, Dustin Hoffman, Tom Cruise. It was the Best Picture of 1988. A lot of parodies and stuff were made off of this, especially in The Hangover. They do a great parody of it. And the special features, we got a deleted scene, then there's an original featurette, audio commentary by director Barry Levinson, who also did stuff like, man, a Tin Man Diner. I met him once. I worked at a video store in Northern California in the Bay Area, and this is around Academy Awards time. And Wag the Dog, the film that he directed, was up for Best Picture, so was Titanic. And he asked me what I thought of Titanic, and I said, "Oh, it's a chick's version of Star Wars," and he really liked that. He thought that was funny because at the time, I guys have Star Wars and women, have Titanic. So there you go. There's also audio commentary, separate audio commentaries with both writers, and you get a theatrical trailer. The next one is the film that, as I'm sure all of us, including Tom Cruise, probably thought he would win an Academy Award for, and he didn't. That would be Born on the 4th of July. For a long time, we heard after Platoon that Oliver Stone was going to do a follow up to Platoon that took place back in America, and that it was going to star Charlie Sheen. It would be like, what is a Vietnam vet? What is his experience after the war back in the States? He kind of did that with Heaven and Earth, but we got Born on the 4th of July instead, which covers pretty much that entire thing. Special edition, winner, 2 Academy Awards, including Best Director, but not actor. See, and also some of these I got them, because it's special edition or it's, special edition. So instead of getting the Blu-ray, some of this stuff, as I'm sure, is on the Blu-ray, but I just happened to see it on the DVD, so I picked it up. This is based on the true story novel of Vietnam veteran Ron Kovic. That's who Tom Cruise plays. The film also stars Willem Dafoe. Music is by John Williams. That's pretty awesome. Kara Sedgwick, Frank Whaley. And the special features on this, you get the audio commentary from Oliver Stone, and then you get an NBC News Archives backstory, Born on the 4th of July. This is the film that pretty much, at least I believe, that solidified Tom Cruise as an actor, not just like a sex symbol or a pretty boy or something, that he could actually act, which is probably why he took it. It screams Academy Award all over it, but I don't remember if he was nominated for this. He might have been nominated, but just didn't win. So this next one is not great, but there is a 4-hour version of it that was shown on TV. It was on 2 nights, 2 hours on each night. I would love to see that. This is okay. It's not great. It was better than what I thought it would be because I put it off for years watching because I didn't know if I really wanted to see, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman with Irish accents. They pull it off. They're okay. They're fine. It's a Ron Howard film. I like the ending. You do learn something about Irish immigrants coming over to America, how they get the land. So it's not bad. It's okay. No special features listed. John Williams does the music. That's always a good thing. Brian Grazer, who produced this, Ron Howard's producing partner. Our next one is incredibly iconic for some of its scenes and definitely its dialogue. Uh, and that's A Few Good Men. We all know the Jack Nicholson lines. You know, we know the courtroom fight between Cruise and Nicholson. I don't even have to say it. You guys could say it. You're probably thinking it. It's you know. I think that you guys can handle the truth. Demi Moore, absolutely gorgeous in this, just beautiful in this. So since this is, it's based on a play, so it kind of feels a little bit like a play. It's a Rob Reiner film. Rob Reiner directed the great, well, he's directed many good movies, but for me, this is Spinal Tap. Is still my favorite by him. No, don't see anything with special features. Oh, that's right. Aaron Sorkin did the screenplay to this. The great Aaron Sorkin, one of our greatest screenwriters out there. This also has a bunch of people in it too. It's got Kevin Bacon, Kevin Pollak, James Marshall, the great late J.T. Walsh. Man, was he a great actor. Always took a movie from here to here. I mean, he was just amazing, and sadly, he died. Kiefer Sutherland. This is another good one. Chapter selections. The next one is one of my favorite Cruise movies. So it's The Firm. I really like this film. Based on a book by John Grisham. Now, a film by Sidney Pollack. Great director, great actor. Ross's dad on Friends. This is where I'm going to mention the Tom Cruise camp. Once you're like off the street in the parking lot and you're in the campsite, you're in that camp of Tom Cruise, he works with you. You will be in other movies with him. You will direct other movies with him. If you look at his filmography, you see that he works with a lot of the same directors, that there's a lot of the same actors in his movies. And I really like that about him. Sometimes, a director is one and gone, but a lot of the times, once I'm guessing, this is my feeling on it, is once you get his trust, even if the film doesn't do well, it could do great, it could do poor. Once you get his trust, you're in, and you're going to be doing other stuff. So Sidney Pollack directed The Firm, but he also acted in Eyes Wide Shut. Sadly, he passed. Great director, great actor. He also directed Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman. He's just a great director. Absence of Malice, Sally Field, and Paul Newman. So there's our Paul Newman connection. And there's even a Kevin Bacon connection in this too. Yeah. Yeah, there's a Kevin Bacon connection. What is that? That's 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? I might think of what it is, but there is a connection. But this is a really good movie. If I don't think of it, maybe you could look it up, and it is there. So this also has in it Gene Triplehorn, Ed Harris, Holly Hunter, the late great Hal Holbrook, And David Strathairn. I always have a hard time saying his name. Music is by Dave Gershwin. Robert Towne. Here we go. Here's another one. So Robert Towne, who is the screenwriter of Chinatown, one of the greatest movies ever made. Jack Nicholson was in Chinatown, written by Robert Towne, who's in A Few Good Men. Making connections. So he's one of the screenwriters on this, and then he went on to do Mission Impossible. So, and then Cruise, because once again, he got into the camp, ended up producing some movies that he directed. The interesting thing is, and as I'm sure there's articles and maybe even videos on this, are the screenwriters of the firm. There were a lot of screenwriters. There's reasons why it's organized this way. And even so, there was a history of writers on this. Even one writer at one point had Tom Cruise's character use a machine gun to mow everybody down. I forget what screenwriter it is, but it's interesting. There's an interesting history of the screenwriters on this movie. What I find interesting also is there's Gene Hackman. He's pictured right next to Tom Cruise, but he's nowhere in the credits. He's nowhere in here. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't want to be. Yeah, he's right here. Directed by Oscar winner Sidney Pollack and starring Oscar winner Gene Hackman. But why is he not in the credits here? That is weird. Like they just forgot to add him in. Very strange. Not so much as far as special features go, widescreen and a couple trailers. Also, you will notice that Tom Cruise is on the front of all of his movies. So, Firm. Okay, Few Good Men. There. There. Now, of course, you're saying, well, yeah, because it's Tom Cruise. He's one of the main actors. And so forth. The reason why he's on a lot of these, and if you look at the poster, and why he's normally on top and stuff, is that is in his contract to be on the poster, Tom Cruise. He's normally at like a profile picture, if you look at his posters. And speaking of, the next one is a film that the author of the novel was not happy about. I guess she changed her mind later, or maybe with studio influence, she then said, oh yeah, no, I do like him in this. But originally, when he was cast in this role, she was not happy. Also, this film pit Tom Cruise against another actor, and they've never made another movie again. There's been rumors that they've had a couple sit downs to maybe make a movie together, but they never have. And they've been in competition with each other ever since. And that's Interview with a Vampire. So Anne Rice originally hated the idea of Tom Cruise being in this film. I guess she came around, or like I said, maybe studio influence. He has also had an ongoing competition with Brad Pitt. This also has Antonio Banderas, Stephen Ray, and Christian Slater, who came in at the last second because this was originally River Phoenix, who right before production, he died of a drug overdose. So Christian Slater filled in for him. I like this film. I haven't read the books, so I have nothing to compare it to. At first, I did kind of think Tom Cruise as a vampire was kind of a weird thing, but I like it. I have no problem with it. It's directed by Neil Jordan, who also did The Crying Game. Stan Winston does the effects. Kirsten Dunst. Behind the scenes, let's see, special features like behind the scenes documentary. There's interviews, audio commentary with Neil Jordan, introduction by Anne Rice, Neil Jordan, and Antonio Banderas, trailers and stuff like that. 100 times better than friggin' Twilight. That garbage. This next one is the first collaboration with Cameron Crowe. It's also another another DVD that I got because of its packaging and what came with it. And that would be Jerry Maguire. Another film that I'm going to guess Cruise probably thought that he might win an Academy Award for. But it was Cuba Gooding Jr. who won the Academy Award, Best Supporting Actor, I believe. On one of my previous videos, I forgot his name. How could you forget his name? He was in The Chill Factor. So this is a special edition, and it slips out. And then you open it. Looks like that. So you got disc 1 here, disc 2 there. Got the little kid here. You can pull this little thing out behind him. It's the little kid again. Scene selections on the back. Slide it back in. It's a cute kid. I remember him in the movie. And fold it back up. Oh. So what's this? And then it fits right back in here. So the special features, disc 1, widescreen audio commentary with Cameron Crowe, Tom Cruise, Renee Zellweger. Let's not forget that she was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey. Let us not forget that. And Cuba Gooding Jr. Now, this is interesting. Disc 2. So audio commentary. This is now video commentary with Cameron Crowe, Tom Cruise, Renee Zellweger, and Cuba Gooding Jr. Deleted scenes with director and sports agent. Oh, and editor's commentary, rehearsal footage, commentary with like the editor, commercials. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here. Photo gallery. This also has the late Kelly Preston. That was John Travolta's wife. Jerry O'Connell, Jay Moore, Bonnie Hunt. It's produced by James L. Brooks, also a really good director. The next one, Cruise is part of a like ensemble cast, and that is Magnolia. This is another one that has one of these kind of like fancy boxes, so that's why I picked it up instead of the Blu-ray. So it's a New Line Platinum Series, Magnolia. Very simple. It's got all of its awards and the cast listed on the back. So we're going to slip it out. And then when you open it, looks like that. And then like that. So disc 1, which is here, has the chapter stops. Disc 2 here is the supplemental material. So let's see what that is. We'll take a Okay, so disc 2 supplemental material. The features are Frank T.J. Mackey seminar, Mackey infomercial, teaser. You get a trailer, TV spot, Save Me video, and a documentary. Magnolia is an awesome film. Great cast, once again showing that Cruise can act. This next film is my favorite Tom Cruise movie. I was asked a while back, what is my favorite Tom Cruise film? And I could not answer that. Because in one way or another, I like them all. Some are better than others, but I like them all. And it was hard for me to pick. And I also have the Blu-ray of this film. And when I watched the Blu-ray, I said, this is it. This is my favorite Tom Cruise movie. And it may be surprising, but it's Vanilla Sky, which is his second team up with Cameron Crowe. It's a remake of the Spanish film Open Your Eyes, and also stars Penelope Cruz. So she's in the original and in this one. I love her character in this. She is gorgeous in this film. Her character is amazing. I would love to meet somebody who was this character. I love her character in this. I've seen this film a bunch of times. I've watched a bunch of video essays on it, getting people's different opinions, their interpretations of what the film is, what it means, what does the ending mean. It's one of those movies where you can watch it 100 times and come up with 100 different, ideas of what this film really is. And it also stars a bunch of other people too. So you get, like I said, Penelope Cruz, you get Kurt Russell, Jason Lee, Noah Taylor, Cameron Diaz. Nancy Wilson from Heart does the music. I believe at the time she was Cameron Crowe's wife. Now, I think, and I could be off, so I'm going to go back. Oh, John Sale. This is the director of photography on the firm. Great DP. So as far as DVDs go, I believe this is the first team up with Tom Cruise and Paula Wagner. Paula Wagner was his manager, and they made up Cruise Wagner Productions, basically so he could have more control on his films, and he could be one of the producers on it. This is a good case of this. See, his picture's right here, and he's kind of like in a profile, because that's in his contract. He could have people around him, but he's got it. So this could be the beginning also of just him on the cover. I like this, how it's all one long word. Love, hate, dreams, life, work, play, friendship, sex. So I really think this film is awesome. It's got some decent special features. It's widescreen. It's got audio commentary with Cameron Crowe, Nancy Wilson, featuring a conversation with Tom Cruise. There's 2 featurettes. There's an interview with Paul McCartney, because he does the theme song Vanilla Sky to this. There's another music video, unreleased teaser trailer, international theatrical trailer, and there's a photo gallery. He should have never left this car. If he just would have gotten in and driven away, we probably wouldn't have had a movie. The next one is what my friends and I dubbed Dances with Wolves with a Samurai. It's The Last Samurai. It's directed by Edward Zwick. He also did Glory and one of my favorite David Mamet movies, About Last Night. And this is Tom Cruise, and he's going to destroy the samurai, and then he becomes one of the samurai. He is, you might think, he is not the last samurai. He is a samurai. I like this movie. I thought it was good. Hey, got 2 thumbs up from Ebert and Roper. So it's a 2 disc collection. And so we get audio commentary by the director. Well, I think, hold on. I think there's an easier way of reading it inside. So let's go inside. So here's the movie. Special features. And then it has this little thing right here. So let's look at this. So there's that, and then the inside. So disc 1 has audio commentary by the director. Disc 2, special features, has History Channel documentary, History vs. Hollywood, The Last Samurai, Tom Cruise interview, Edward Zwick interview, making of. There's a documentary about the production design, another documentary about the costume design, Imperial Army basic training, from soldier to samurai, the weapons, deleted scenes with optional director commentary, Japan premieres, and theatrical trailer. And like I've said, this is another one of those because it's the 2 disc. This might all be on the Blu-ray. I don't know. But I saw 2 disc and it had all this stuff on it. So it's like, oh, let me go get that. Ken Wannabe is in this. That's him right there. He's a really good actor. Ooh, Billy Conway. That's right. Tony Goldwyn. I like him. He's okay. And Timothy Spall. He's a British actor. You would probably recognize him if you saw him. The next one is the second team up and the last team up with Tom Cruise and this director. That director would be Steven Spielberg, and it's War of the Worlds. This is a 2-disc limited edition. It's another one that I bought because it is the way that it is. I liked how this was all done, with the Blu-ray was just a Blu-ray box. I am not the biggest fan of this film. I think that there's been other versions that have been done better of War of the Worlds, but it's okay. Spielberg, of course, they worked together, Cruise and Spielberg. They worked on Minority Report, and I guess everything went really well. It was a big hit, even spanned like a short-lived TV series. They worked really well together. So when they did this was during Cruise's weird Scientology time. This is when he was jumping on couches. This is when he was given really bizarre interviews. He was on the set of this film. This is just stuff I've read online, so I'll take it with a grain of salt. That he was, handing out Scientology propaganda to the cast and crew. And Spielberg, who is Jewish, did not like that because he sees Scientology as a cult, much like Hitler, the Nazis, all that. So it wasn't until years and years later, I believe, that they came back together, and kind of talked through the whole thing. Spielberg did say during COVID, or right after COVID, that with Top Gun Maverick, there was that footage of them in a crowd in front of a movie theater. And Spielberg does grab Tom Cruise and says, "You saved Hollywood." And Cruise starts laughing, which in a way Top Gun Maverick did, because it broke $1 billion and nobody thought it would. They all thought it was going to bomb, and it didn't. It was one of the highest grossing movies of that year. And it did. It was one of the films that saved Hollywood. I just think this movie it's okay. I like portions of it. Cruise just plays kind of an asshole. He gets better at the end, so he has his arc. Um, Dakota Fanning is fucking awful. God, she is awful. All she does is scream and question shit throughout the entire movie. I was really hoping that Cruise's character would just tape her mouth shut. God, she is annoying in this. And the guy who plays the son is pretty annoying too, because he's, I guess, a teenager, and at that age he's rebellious and blah blah blah. It also has Tim Robbins, who plays a kind of like a conspiracy nut who goes a little insane, and Cruise has to do something to him to shut him up. So that's kind of fun, since Tim Robbins is a liberal. So for him to kind of play the opposite of what he is, that's always fun. One of the screenwriters on this is David. I always say his last name wrong, like Koep. John Williams did the score. Dennis Mirren. I am, with Industrial Light of Magic. I've met Dennis Mirren a couple times when I was up in Northern California at the video store. All of ILM would come in. So Ben Burt, Dennis Mirren, I talk to them all the time. Very nice people. And Michael Kamen was the editor. So see, this has got a bunch of good stuff on it. And fucking Kathleen Kennedy is one of the producers. That is a whole video I could do by itself. I won't get into it. I have so much to say about Kathleen Kennedy. Fucking overpaid secretary who can't even make good coffee. It's always burnt, I'm sure. God, sorry. The limited edition exclusives, interviews with Steven Spielberg and Tom Cruise. There is a pre-visualization. Discover the artistry and imagination behind the film's spectacular action sequences. Designing the Enemy, Tripods and Aliens, War Chronicles, On Set Production Diaries, the H.G. Wells Legacy, and much more. H.G. Wells' grandson directed the Time Machine remake that came out years and years and years and years ago. So we open this. This is why I like this type of stuff. You don't get it with Blu-ray. I miss this. And then we'll... So it looks like that. Other side's better. And our last one for the films that Tom Cruise started is a very underrated, underappreciated film directed by Robert Redford. And it's called Lions for Lambs. It is a political film. If I'm remembering correctly, because it was a while back, Redford plays a teacher, Meryl Streep is a reporter, and Tom Cruise is a congressman. It all deals with a war at that time. Afghanistan. So it deals with the Afghanistan war and how different groups deal with it. You could have the teacher, the reporter, the congressman, and then you have the people that basically the lower class, and why they go to war, and how the congressman treats the people that are fighting the war, and how they're more just pawns. It's a good movie. It's a really good film. This is another one of those that I bought because it has a bunch of stuff. You can see it's got two things in there. So it's got like this book, which is the script, and then there's the Blu-ray. I keep saying Blu-ray, DVD. Special features on this: audio commentary by Robert Redford. We got the making of, script to screen, the UA Legacy retrospective, and trailers. Oh, United Artists. So I don't. Yeah. So Cruise is not a producer on this, but Paula Wagner is. On The Last Samurai, there's a few different producers, but Tom Cruise and Paula Wagner are. Oh, the story's by John Logan. Screenplay by John Logan and other writers too. John Logan was one of the guys who worked on like Gladiator, I Am Legend, a lot of other things. So on this one, Lions for Lambs. So I'm going to kind of keep count on this. Neither one of them are listed. Yeah, neither one of them. This also stars Michael Pena, Andrew Garfield, Peter Berg, one of my favorite directors, Derek Loop, Mark Islam did the music, and the screenplay is by Matthew Michael Carahan, who is Joe Carahan's brother. Joe Carahan did Narc, which we're going to be looking at in a second. He's also did other movies too. Yeah, then produced and directed by Robert Redford. So I'm not really sure. Wait, they're not listed on that. So this is the actual. And then you get, it's got a mini screenplay. Kind of see it there with the light. So that's cool. Okay, so now we're going to get into the films that he produced with Paula Wagner. So it'd be the Cruise Wagner Productions. The first one is, like I said, once you're part of that camp, this is Without Limits. So it's part of the Warner Brothers archive collection. It's got Billy Crudup, who was in another one of the movies, Donald Sutherland, Monica Parter. This is the film about Steve Prefontaine, the runner, and it's directed by Robert Towne. Robert Towne wanted to direct the movie. So Tom Cruise and Paula Wagner said, we'll produce it for you. There you go. Anybody? Oh, the director of photography on this is Conrad L. Hall. That is awesome. And it's also one of the writers, Robert Towne, is also Kenny Moore. No special features listed on this one. Then after that, so Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman are in Eyes Wide Shut. And after, Stanley Kubrick, not long after the film wrapped, Stanley Kubrick died. So Warner Brothers brought out this documentary called Stanley Kubrick, A Life in Pictures. And it is narrated by Tom Cruise. So produced and directed by Jan Harlan, narrated by Tom Cruise. And there's Eyes Wide Shut right there. This, I believe, is the last film that Cruise produced for Nicole Kidman. And that is The Others. Really good movie. Love that cover. Look at that. That is so cool looking. Back is the same way. This is part of the Dimension Collectors series. Another reason why I got it. Look how thick it is. And it's a good ghost story. It's got a good twist, as I'm sure probably a lot of people already know the twist. It is directed by, and it's a Spanish director, so I'm most likely going to mispronounce his last name, Alexandro Am in a bar. Am in a bar. As I'm sure that's wrong. I am sorry. Besides Nicole Kidman, it also has Christopher Eccleston, who played Doctor Who. When they brought the show back in, I think it was 2001, he was the first Doctor. One of the best Doctors. So the special features on this, there's a documentary, there's a visual effects short, there's an intimate look at the director, still gallery, theatrical trailer. Yeah, there's a widescreen. There's some stuff on here that looks pretty good. Oh, and I didn't realize when I bought this, these are the people who owned it before me. They live in Henderson, Nevada, so they live not too far from me. There's disc 1, disc 2, and then it's got basically for the chapters. And this does say, yeah, executive producer, Tom Cruise, Paula Wagner. Ooh, and the Weinstein brothers, Bob Weinstein and Harvey Weinstein. Well, it's Dimension, I guess so. More ew for Harvey Weinstein than Bob. So they both Cruise and Wagner, they kind of went between executive producer and producer on films. Now, the next one is Narc. This is a great movie. This is an absolutely great movie. If you've not seen it, you're missing out. So it's got Jason Patric, Ray Iola, and it's a crime film that deals with like a corrupt cop. There's drug dealers in it, undercover drug dealers or undercover narcs, I guess I should say. It is a great movie. This is Joe Carnahan. He made films like, The Gray. He's made a ton of films that I'm blanking on. Oh my God. I could see them in my head right now. He made part 1 and part 2. Smoking Aces 1 and 2. He's done a bunch of movies. He's a really good director. I'm actually kind of ashamed that I'm not remembering more of his movies. But this also has, it's got Busta Rhymes. There he is. And Roger Ebert gives it thumbs up. So what had happened was they were making this movie. It was an independent film, and they ran out of money. So everybody worked for free because they liked the movie so much. They trusted everybody so much that they shot, they did everything for free. And then they showed it. And Tom Cruise saw it because they got it, executive produced by Tom Cruise, Paul and Paula Wagner. And they basically got the film distributed by Paramount because Cruise liked it so much. He's interviewed on this disc. that he was so impressed with the film that he got it produced. He produced it to get it released. Blood, Guts, and Bullets and Octane. That's the first thing that Joe Carnahan did. This is the second thing. On this, there is audio commentary with the writer and editor. And then there's some behind the scenes stuff. There's like making of the deal, shooting up, the visual trip, the Friedkin Connection. What that is that's William Friedkin, who directed The French Connection. A lot of people say this is a kind of like a spiritual sequel to The French Connection. That it's shot like The French Connection, it feels like The French Connection, its story is like The French Connection. There is very much The French Connection in this, which it was inspired by it, but not like a ripoff. And so they interview on this disc, they interview William Friedkin, who is very honored that people think that this film is like The French Connection. And of course, the people who worked on this film are very honored that they compare it to The French Connection. French Connection is a great movie if you've never seen it. Do not watch it online. It's edited. So this is, yeah, I absolutely love this film. I think it's, yeah, Smoking Aces 1 and 2. The Gray. Oh, the A-Team. He did the movie for the A-Team. And he was supposed to be the director on Mission Impossible 3, but there were disagreements, and so he left, and that's when J.J. Abrams came on. But once again, when you're in the camp, but I guess the disagreements were a little too much, and Joe Carnahan hasn't come back yet. So this next one is based on a true story, and it is awesome. I've seen it a couple times. I really like it. It's called Shattered Glass. It is the film about Stephen Glass. Hayden Christensen does a great job in this. It also has Peter Skarsgård, Chloe, what's it, Sevigny, Steve Zahn, Melanie Zinsky, and Hank Azaria. So Stephen Glass wrote for The New Republic, Rolling Stone, Harper's Bazaar, George, and his entire career was lying. Started with a little one, and it just grew to be this giant lie. And this is that story. It is a fascinating story because everybody believed him because he was so likable. People, couldn't believe that. They really liked him, so they're like, well, okay, maybe it did happen that way. The special features on this, there is an actual 60 minutes interview with the real Stephen Glass. So that's pretty cool, where they interview him and they're like, why did you do it? And then he explains why. I don't think there's, Rosario Dawson is in this too. It's like everybody else in the credits are on the front cover except for her. That's kind of messed up. Look at that. They even have 3 and 2. They could have fit her in right there. That's kind of messed up. Very good movie. The next one is a film I hate. And these are all, like I said. Oh, and this is written and directed by Billy Ray. So I want to point that out. Yeah, executive producers Tom Cruise and Paula Wagner. This next film I hate. I hate this movie. And I think it destroyed this filmmaker's career for a while until he did Aloha. And then it did really kill his career. This is Cameron Crowe. And it's a film called Elizabethtown. It's with Orlando Bloom and Kirsten Dunst. 2 thumbs up, Ebert and Roper. Guys, come on. I was trusting you back there, but I'm not trusting you with this. So there's a bunch of films like this. The one that comes to mind is Garden State with Natalie Portman and Zach Braff. So he would be the Zach Braff character. She would be the Natalie Portman character. I'm going to get this wrong, but there is a character that is called something like the magical pixie dust girl or some fairy girl, something like that. And it's a character that's in these movies where the guy basically has like a stick up his ass and he's all about business and he's very serious. And then he meets the young girl who changes his entire life. And that seems to be her mission in the entire film. And her life becomes making his life better. And that's what this film is. I hate the ending to this film. I don't think the ending could ever happen in 1,000 years. And it is just awful. I keep it for a couple reasons. You know, it is produced by, there it is, produced by Tom Cruise and Paula Wagner and Cameron Crowe. So I keep it because of that. I also keep it because it is Cameron Crowe. I'm a completist. Music is by Nancy Wilson. The film has a good cast in it. It also has Alec Baldwin, Bruce McGill, Judy Greer, Jessica Biel. But man, it is. How did I hate this movie? The special features are, and the names of the special features on here don't really mean anything to me because I just don't. Training wheels, meet the crew. There are extended scenes, photo gallery, 2 theatrical trailers, widescreen. Man, yeah, I'm sorry, Ebert and Rover. You're wrong. This is not good. Wow. Okay. Excuse me while I take a mouth is very dry. We're getting through them. We're getting through them. The next one is another Robert Towne. It is Ask the Dust. So Colin Farrell, Selma Hayek, it says here, directed by the Academy Award winning writer of Chinatown. Would have been nice if they showed respect and put his name on here, but okay. And it's in this tiny little freaking area right here. Really? You got this entire box. You couldn't maybe just put it along the bottom? Okay, whatever. Guy's only one of the greatest screenwriters ever. I have not seen this, so I can't tell you if it's good or not. Is there anybody else in the Donald Sutherland? So he was also the other Robert Towne movie, the Without Limits. It's about all I'm seeing there. It's kind of dark, but produced by Tom Cruise and Paula Wagner. Special features, audio commentary by the director and the cinematographer. There was a making of and theatrical trailer. This next film, everybody loves. Everybody loves but me. I think it's okay. It's got its moments, but the best thing in it is Tom Cruise. Les Grossman. And you guys should all know what movie I'm talking about. And that's Tropic Thunder. I thought Robert Downey Jr. was hilarious. Ben Stiller was fine. You know, he's always funny. I thought Jack Black was awful. I'm not a huge Jack Black fan. I thought all the stuff with the gummy bears when he really means drugs, I thought was really stupid. I thought the movie was okay. I didn't think it was great. From what I understand is the Les Grossman character came in later. Like the film was done and they brought him in and that shot everything, like, you know, like with screenings and stuff, that boom, like skyrocketed it. Cruise had a lot to do with the character. He wanted him to look certain ways, like his hands, and the head. He wanted to do the dance. The dance was his idea. The song was his idea. So the whole kind of Les Grossman thing was a Ben Stiller idea, but Cruise took it to that next level and made it what we know today. That is why I think this film is good. If Les Grossman or Tom Cruise was not in this movie, I don't think I would give a rat's ass about it. I really don't. It would have its funny moments, like with Robert Downey Jr., but that's about it. Also has Nick Nolte. It is a 2 disc. It's unrated. I think this originally came with like a slipcover, and I bought this off of eBay, and this is how it came because there's no cast listing or anything. But the special features, there is cast and crew commentaries. There's a bunch of documentaries, an alternate ending, deleted and extended scenes, MTV Music Awards. It's got that clear case that I like. Oh, yeah, Danny McBride. It's the pyrotechnics guy. Another reason why I like it. I like Danny McBride. Okay, so now we're going to start getting into Tom Cruise related kind of Tom Cruise adjacent type of stuff. We only got a few left. So this is a great movie. And it's called Suspect Zero. Now I did look this up before doing the video. I thought maybe Tom Cruise was like a silent producer on it, but I guess it's only Paula Wagner. I don't know if he had anything to do with this. This might have been after their separation. No, it does say a C/W production. So that's Cruise Wagner, but he's just not listed on here. It's just Paula Wagner. This is Aaron Eckhart, Ben Kingsley, Carrie Ann Moss. 2 thumbs up. Okay, so I'm back. I'm back with Ebert and Roper there. This you could watch as a double feature with Sexy Beast with Ben Kingsley in it. This is a really good movie. It's got a great twist. It is really good. The director of this film made a movie called The Begotten, I think was the film he did before this. I could barely get through it. A friend of mine loves it. I think it has to do with like the birth of Christ and his him being sacrificed and everything. But I could not get through it. It was just one of those films with a lot of images and weird sounds, and there's no dialogue, and I couldn't get into it. What scared me a little bit when I saw this, but I wish this director would make more movies, and that's let's see, E. Elias Hedge. I wish that he would do more films. Anybody else in this? Oh, Clint Mansell did the music. He's really good. Michael Chapman, director of photography. So, oh, and Zach Penn wrote the story. Zach Penn wrote the story, but Zach Penn and Billy Ray did the screenplay. So we're still within the camp, the Cruise camp. So the special features on this is commentary by the director. There's a 4-part featurette. There's a remote viewing demonstration, because that's what it is. It's like FBI remote viewing, kind of like Red Dragon, with like the characters in that. They go to the murder and they can kind of map it all out in their head. Alternate ending with optional director commentary, widescreen. Oh, my box is broken. I have to get a new box. Let me see right there. So the next few have nothing to do with Tom Cruise or Paula Wagner. These are the ones that I wanted to add in because, well, it's Robert Towne and his first directing film. Once I started getting really into the Tom Cruise stuff and wanting to branch out into other people that he worked with, Robert Towne, I wanted to collect his movies. He only did a few as a director, so I wanted to include these in. So this is part of that Warner Brothers archive collection, kind of like Without Limits. It's personal best, and it's another running movie. But there's a little bit of history to this. Yeah, this is the directorial debut. So it's Mariel Hemingway, Scott Glenn, Petrus Donahue. There's Kevin Moore. Executive producer on this is David Geffen, who also produced Risky Business, Tom Cruise. And it's written, produced, and directed by Robert Towne. So what this is that they're runners, but now this is the date, 1982. Except they're gay, they're lesbians. There is a fair amount of nudity in this from both of them. I remember as a kid, my grandfather had a Playboy and the movies of the year, and it showed pictures of them naked in it. So as a kid, I was like, oh, I got to see this movie. But of course, this caused, some issues because, it's 1982, lesbians, nudity, that wasn't a thing. But it's a good movie. So I guess, it's a sports film because it's about running. I would watch it. Then this is the other one by Robert Towne, which everybody expected to be great, and it wasn't. It's good, but it's not great. That's Tequila Sunrise. And this is like at the peak of their career. So Mel Gibson, Michelle Pfeiffer, Kurt Russell. Mel Gibson is a drug dealer. Kurt Russell is a cop. Michelle Pfeiffer is a waitress. Mel Gibson and Kurt Russell were childhood friends, but they went opposite directions. One became a cop, one became a drug dealer. This is written and directed by Robert Towne. Director of photography is Conrad L. Hall. David Gershwin. So we got some names in there that we've heard before. Raul Julia is in this. So it's Warner Brothers. It's a good movie. It's just not great. It should have been better. The weird thing is it includes commentary by the producer, Thom Mount, but not Robert Towne. So okay. So this one, and I haven't seen this, but I really need to. My friend Hugo said that I should really watch it, being a Tom Cruise fan, being an Eyes Wide Shut fan. This would be Open Your Eyes. This is the original Spanish version that has, Penelope Cruz in it. And it is the same director as the others. So Cruz like this. He makes Eyes Wide Shut, remake, gives the director of this film, the original, an American movie to do with his wife, Nicole Kidman, the others. See, it all kind of connects. But I have not seen this. It's a Spanish film. It's subtitled in English, but I do want to see it. I just need to sit down and kind of be in the mood for subtitles. Special features, widescreen, cast and crew info, and that's really about it. And our last one. So I like the Jack Reacher movies. From what I understand, the writer of the books does not. And I think that's Lee Child. Even though he's been interviewed about the two movies, and they even gave him a cameo, I think, in both films. He just thinks Tom Cruise is miscast. From what I understand, and from what I've seen, I would have to agree with that. Even though I do like Tom Cruise in them, I think he's really good in them. Uh, both movies have great opening scenes. They're and they're it's Christopher McQuarrie. I really like both films a lot, but I understand people's issues with them. Tom Cruise is 5'7". I'm 5'8", so he's shorter than me. That you needed an actor that was more the size of like Dwayne Johnson. So for the TV show, that's what they did. I don't know this actor's name, but they got a size appropriate actor to play Reacher. And this is season 1. I have not seen this yet. I've heard it's very good. Fans of the book love this. I've heard season 2 is a little hit and miss, but I've heard that this is the book. Like, he is the character of Jack Reacher. So I'm looking forward to watching this when I have some time. It's got its slipcase. It's got its clear case, which I like. Special features are realizing Reacher and novelistic. Unfortunately, when I got this, friggin' broken. So I think that happened during mailing. But it has 1, 2, 3 discs. Each disc has 3 episodes on it. And yeah, the case is just all cracked. So disappointing when that happens, because this is going to be a hard case to find. So it's got that. So inside here, disc 1, disc 2, disc 3 gives a little synopsis of each episode. And then special features that list here. And so, see, that's what Reacher is supposed to look more like. Kind of like a hulking, kind of like, like a Hulk, or The Rock. So let's get this back in here carefully. So that's it, guys. That's everything. At least as far as the DVDs go. Next time, Blu-rays. So I hope you liked this video. I hope that you liked my collection. I've actually worked hard on it. You'll see by the end of the 3rd video. And I'm not going to do a recap because there's just too many to recap. So there we go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a long one, and I'm going to try to get out this week another video, but I'm not sure if I could do that or not. I might have to go into next week and maybe do a second one. This week is very busy with stuff. I have a one filmmaker I'm prepping for. I'm shooting an interview for a film that's coming out from Arrow Video. I'll be doing that. And there's just so many other things that are happening this weekend, or just week, the whole week, that I may not be able to get out another video. So we'll see what happens, but I'll definitely try to get out 2 next week. So, all right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Be kind, be good. See you on the next video. Thanks again. Bye.